Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
It
Hello.
is it is such a pleasure having you both here, or actually, thank you for having me as well for this international coaching week. And I am. I'll just give a very short introduction of myself. As a professional, I have been practicing coaching since almost 6 years now. And these are my gurus and my mentors and coaches. And I have been trained in their proprietary model in a most shift coaching and designed by both of them. And they're both MCC coaches. And that's just a bit of their introduction, just the tip of the iceberg, like they say. So my journey started as a seeker because I wanted to strengthen my relationship with my child. Little did I know that I will not only just dive in, but I will dive in deep. And in that process, find my own passion and values. Thank you so much, sir and ma'am. It is very difficult for me to take your names, but just to introduce the audiences, I will say, please let us a warm welcome to you all, and a very, very warm welcome to Siri ma'am and Sat sir. So, ma'am and sir, I will just leave it to you to just say something about yourselves.
So I think thank you, Anubha. It's been a beautiful journey in so many days, and I think it's been a beautiful journey overall to be a coach. There's so many learnings which I have gone through personally in my life, and many times when I'm coaching people, I feel similar kind of situations in my own mind somewhere. Sometimes you're stuck. Though of course I have learned I'm not there, I'm not set, I'm at Z. But yes, if any situation of life comes, it does not stay in my mind for a longer time, which used to be earlier. And so I'm able to come out of it much quicker. And also there's been a lot of learning when you coach people, learning from their incidents of life, that how they are traveling the whole path and they traverse to get reach to the goals and implement them and bring a lot of transformation in their whole lives. So I think it's been a very beautiful journey, and especially using the ancient Indian wisdom in the coaching model, in teaching, and also while coaching people. That's been kind of, do we call, like, it's the coach as an awakener, but it's actually have been an awakening journey, for me at least, knowing so many things and learning obviously from Sir. He also is one of my gurus who's always with me and always teaching me and always poking to learn more and better and get better. So journey is still on. Yes, definitely it's still on, not yet reached there. But definitely it's also I have also transformed, and when I see what I was and what I am today, it's a huge shift which has also happened internally and externally. Yet at some places it has to be still manifested. I would say I'm still working on those places, and that's what I'm trying to give it back to the people with my full heart, mind, and soul. And I think that's the purpose, what it is, to help them to grow to the next level, to be in touch with their true self, so that they know who we are as human beings. Because we are all very beautiful from inside, but it's just all those layers which are formed, and we have to uncover them and unlearn them and just be that who we are, that beautiful person. So that's
Thank you
been my
so much.
journey.
Thank you so much for sharing, ma'am. And sir, sir, you're on mute, sir.
I have only one experience in my life, and that comes from the rich land of India and the culture that prevails here. So I love being on this land, and I love being on this motherland, I would say, which has mothered me so well. And I have only experienced the energy of love. And that's what I think, loving everything, what comes before doing, and loving human being has been my only desire. And I want to see people loving each other. And that's my really mission. And everything I do that. How can people come out of the suffering and get into more closer, intimate, loving, and cooperating? So cooperate, collaborate, and co-create. And how can I contribute to this process with love? That's what my only introduction is. Okay.
Wow, and that's such a beautiful. That's not only, sir. That's like a transforming a billion vision holding introduction. And thank you so much for that. For me, I would say I see you both as heart and soul of Alpha Star Academy of Excellence that you guys started more than 25 years ago. I think coaching was not even a formalized kind of a word or a profession even then. And why I say heart and soul is because ma'am is, a person where we used to just go to offload our problems, and sir was always the one who has this knack of, writing one of the best books and then editing it himself. He's the one who keeps challenging himself, keeps coming out of comfort zone, and keeps working on the book, which is just so valuable. I mean, as a trainer's handbook, I think I go back to it. It's my almost like my Gita. I keep going back to it every time I need to read something or learn something. Sometimes I will just open it and just see what is the message for me. So yeah, thank you so much for your uh, living the value of love, sir and ma'am both. And through the past seven interactions, we've had a lot of discussion on what ancient Indian wisdom is. We've broken down what ancient means, what wisdom means, how wisdom is different from knowledge, and how we are embodying it, and so many things. So, sir, my question right now is, you are international coaches. You coach people living all across the globe. How do you bring this perspective and the side of the model to people who are not culturally tuned to ancient Indian wisdom?
Okay. So I go with the mindset that people are people, and culturally they are only trying to be good in the place they are and experience goodness and spread goodness. That's what people deeply want. And you know, despite we have vices, we still look for wiseness. And somewhere deep down in the heart, we know it. And that's where the Indian philosophy and the rich culture guides us that people are little helpless, and but they are not hopeless. And if we can help them, how they can help themselves, this would help them to experience that goodness they want to be. So I don't see people as divided in a nation or culture or community. I see I have not I don't, please forgive me, I forget a person before is a man or a woman is from any culture or nation. I just see there is a seeker to learn, and something within the person is trying to seek that, and something in the person would only awaken the person to what a person is trying to seek. And every apparatus is just fitted, and is just by chance I happen to be here in this moment with this person, and otherwise this person would reach there. And fortunately, even from the western world, we came across a wonderful um, teacher and the mentor, uh, Richard Bandler, who fails to, or okay, who denies to be referred himself as any spiritual. But if we deeply look into it, he has gone deep into shamanism, deep into Hinduism, deep into any even Christianity or even beyond that. So I would not name, but we learn from him that human beings are just human beings, and they have a mind, and they have a super mind, and that is how they can be actually interpreted, that something deep within them is governing them. If, if physiologically we could be appearing and looking different, that is even the neighbor next door is different. So there is nothing like that there or here. Even your own brother, sister, they are different looking. So, and taking a kind of a philosophical inspiration from Satyam, Shivam, Sundaram, that if you look at everything in the world is different, and this is the truth of Shivam. Shivam means that Vishalta, that that eternity coming into the formation itself, which will itself fold in, fold back, has unfolded and will fold back, and that is beauty. So I speak in my own language that सत्यमता की शिवमता में भिन्नता की सुंदरता को जो पहचान जाता है वो इस दुनिया में सब कुछ पा जाता है. That means the truth in the diversity and beauty, and still the oneness is there. There is one in everyone, and even in the bird. Okay, and that truth, despite being differences, is the ultimate bliss of the world. Because if everything would be homogeneous and uniform, and life is also homogeneous and uniform, and people are also not resisting you and then loving you, and they are uniform, then there is no point to be in this form. Okay, so there is nothing
There's such a
uniform.
boring place to be.
Yeah, it's a boring place.
It's a very boring place
It's
to be
boring
in.
then. No? So that's my approach is okay. So
So beautiful,
every,
and how you've explained, I've almost gone into a meditative some place in my own heart. So, ma'am, would you want to add on this?
I think it's what he already said, sir, is something which is fabulous. That when people come to you, they are just act. They are reached first as human beings. Now you're born in different places because of whatever the reason is. You're born at those places, but ultimately we have the same body. We have the same five senses. We have the same heart, which is beating in the same way. Blood is running in your veins. That's not different. Our experiences of life are different, though the issues still remain the same. Whether I am coaching or training a person who's from India, they have relationship issues. Similarly, they have it in US, UK, Canada. Anywhere you talk about it, anywhere the same issues are happening, right? So when we are dealing with people from our perspective, there is no boundaries because human being is just one, right? And it also follows, at least our approach is, what we try to do is what we call as Vasudev Kutumbakaya. It's one, actually a one big family. It's how you interpret it, right? Even at your home, you can interpret somebody as different and say, this is not my part of the family, or you don't talk to them or do whatever for that reason. But when it comes to training, coaching, dealing with the people, if you imbibe and live with this wisdom of one family, I think there is no difference. Plus, what, of course, learning from Dr. Bandler and many others, people have all the resources within them. So there is no difference of differentiating them, because the culture, when you're talking of problem, people have it. When you talk of awareness, it's in the body. It's the same. So if there is no difference about, people not identifying with the ancient Indian wisdom, because ancient Indian wisdom is all about knowing your own self. And I believe people, when you talk to the different countries, they are more curious, because since India has a rich heritage and a culture, we know this is available to us, though we might not read it. But there, people are much more experimenting. Okay, I want to do this. I want to help myself. I want to be at peace with myself. So they're ready to even work on it because it just speaks about you, and there's no difference in that.
Wow, and it brings me to what Sir also keeps saying time and again in the sessions, that if there is sameness, there is no conversation. Conversation happens only because there are differences and different points of views and everything else, which just brings up a conversation. So I always remember that in times, I don't know, was the internet, I think there was a play of internet there. Were you able to hear me, ma'am? Ma'am, can you hear me? problem in the internet. And while they come back, let me just explain what I was saying. Was that if you can see me, that during any kind of conflict or any kind of debate. So can you hear me now? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
Absolutely. Mm.
Okay. So I was, ma'am, I think is not on yet. The screen
Yes.
seems to be frozen. Okay.
Can you see me and hear me?
Yes, we can see you and
Okay.
hear you. So I was just completing my thought,
Okay.
whenever about the
Yeah.
difference and the sameness, when Sir said, in the one of the sessions with me, that there is the conversation can only happen if there is difference. When there is just sameness, there's only concurrence happening, and there is no nothing else. and I always
Absolutely.
and I always remember this whenever I have a debate or a conflict with somebody. It helps me so much.
Mhm. Mhm.
So thank you
Absolutely.
so much for that
Absolutely.
also. So I will want to, one of the things that I've been meaning to ask you here is that, on the poster that we have for our events, it says, Asto Ma Sadgamaya, right? And that is the entire process of coaching, bringing
Mm.
the subconscious into conscious awareness. So would you just unpack that a little bit more for all of us?
See, this is the like the famous saying in this direction is that you cannot reach where you are. So you're already there. So the truth is already there, and light is always there. And the only thing is, in the backdrop of darkness, we can sense it more. So if we, rather than thinking that I am in the dark, thinking that the everything happening around me, which is which I'm not liking, which is uh, not to my taste, is in fact reminding me of my stable nature, which I can search and delve upon to respond to the things. So to lead ourselves from the darkness to light, or from the untruth to truth, and from being death to deathlessness, is only about that. In fact, we are that form already, and our existence is much bigger than what we have constructed with different influences of life. And every single moment when something more is shrinking us, burdening us, is a moment to turn towards something bigger, brighter, broader, and expansive, which is actually our true nature. So, if these challenges won't happen, if nothing would be of that sort around us, we would never turn to the source. And that is how the, the answer to people that why good people suffer. So some people ask, because they want to experience goodness. So there has to be more of filthiness around to feel. Okay, so I remember a kid came from Australia in the recent times, a very naughty kid, and suddenly when he began to look at the streets, he said, "They are not like that clean here." And then he entered home. He said, "It's very clean here." And he said, "Other than the roads, everything is clean." Okay, so because he come from the experience of cleanliness, he could understand what is the field. But if we live in the field, we don't understand. So when we are pure deep inside, there is something around us, and that is meant to remind us that we need to be more creative. So, like for example, I'll just put here a philosophical truth that in India, the wisdom is that not to call lame a lame and blind a blind. Because if we call lame a lame, in fact, we are lame to understand that person is, in fact, complete. And we are blind to see that person is can see more than we can see, actually. Because person cannot see the other way, person cannot walk the other way. So we tend to, with uh, speak with superiority when we say lame or a blind. And the Vedic truth is, don't call them so. The corporate truth is called spade a spade. Okay? And the normal truth is called spade a spade. But if you are clean enough, you won't call them so. So even in the Western world, it is the same thing. Living by this philosophy of understanding, which comes from the deep, rich Indian wisdom, Bandler says that there are many teachers who would declare the student as dyslexia. And he said that it is that they do not know a way to make them understand, so they think they are less. And he made all the teachers go out and spend 3 days with them. He could help them to memorize any spelling and solve even the mathematical problems. And the teacher was surprised. So see how this core truth come from this rich land is that if you do not let your mind modify to the deterioration happening around you or distort it, then you find a way. So if you don't interpret the things in a way that it doesn't empower you, um, then you lose. So if you interpret the things in a way it empowers you, then you find a solution and you reach out. Okay. So this whole land was just a piece of mud. So if we did not let our mind become muddy with it, we could see the beauty in it. And we have dug out some of the beautiful things out. But if we think it is just a piece of dung, we are standing on it, and that we have deteriorated our perception with what we are observing. And we have forgotten the observer, which is much more intelligent within us. So if we stay with the truth within, it has the power to bring us the light from anything which is before us and enlighten other beings as well. Okay, so this is how the rich philosophical truth will are the guiding factor to, in fact, develop humanity. Okay, and bring more sensibility in life rather than calling lame a lame and blind a blind.
Yes, and so beautifully said, sir. That brings us to the concept of oneness, also, that you said earlier. And one of the saints said that there are no others. And if
Mhm.
we start to understand that really deeply, we will not ever think anybody else is less than or we are less than. And I think that's the core problem, isn't it, ma'am? The belief that I am not enough. That is what we coach on so many times.
See,
Absolutely. And
let me just put in here. It I estimate myself less. In fact, I consider the people around me less somewhere, or something around me is less. So if I do not let my mind do such modification and reduce my own uh, power by thinking them less, then I will never feel less. Okay, so it is this that when I let it my mind rule me, then I lose my power. But when I rule my mind, then I gain my power. So everything is happening in the zones of mind. Okay, and that's we have to mind.
That we have to mind.
that's exactly have to mind, right? So mind your own minds, you know.
More than your business, mind your own mind. The business will mind itself.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, and so, ma'am and sir, congratulations for these amazing books that are coming out. And one lesson I will talk about BEST, best truly. And that has been one of the things that has been completely transformational for me. I will share from there is that in the class, sir always says, keep your spine erect. And he wouldn't let us sit like this or like this, even after like a full day. And he himself used to be like this. And he said that if you keep your spine erect, your future will completely change. And I have taken that and embodied that, and I always sit like this. And of course, as I read the excerpts from the book, it has also come from our ancient Indian wisdom. In fact, the rishis and the munis and everybody used to carry a staff which was a symbol of the spine. So, sir, will you just unpack what it really, really means by keeping your spine erect and changing your future?
Okay. In India, in Hindi, people always say, "यार सीधे हो जाओ."
सही बात है,
सीधा कर
सीधे हो
दो
जाओ,
Okay.
सीधा
This
तो सीधा
only in
कर दूंगी
Indian
या सीधा
language
हो
this is
जाओ.
used. Indian language this is used. Okay, no other language. सीधा हो जा भाई. What does it mean?
Hmm.
Okay.
Ma'am, would
So
you
this
also
reveals
say
everything.
anything on this? Sorry, sorry, sir.
See,
तो
it's all,
मैं तो
I
इसलिए
think,
सीधा रहता हूँ, कोई बोले ना सीधे हो जाओ. ठीक है.
मैं तो हो गई सीधी.
see, I think mind and body is a part
Okay.
of the same system when we are talking of keeping your spine straight. And your spine is the center which is holding you as you can walk if your spine is straight, right? You can walk perfect. You can do many things. You can sit. You can, do many things. And also, I understand from the perspective of biologically, because I work with a hospital called Indian Spinal Injury Center. If somebody's spine is injured, it's your whole life is just on the bed. You cannot do many things. Your mind stops working. What can you think of future? Nothing, right? So, in both the terms, biologically and also speaking it as a symptom, when your spine is straight, your thinking becomes much more straighter, right? If I'm slouching, then obviously I cannot feel happy also. My spine is curved, I cannot be in that emotion. If my spine is straight, I can experience even the emotion of happiness, of peace, right? I can do all that because whatever it is a reflection of, so when I talk to people there, so I'm talking in both the ways as a ancient Hinduism, I'll come back to it. Sometimes I tell people that when you're not able to walk or because of the spine injury or some part has not been functioning, so I said let's work the other way around. Earlier, it was you were walking, you were able to do many things, but now let your mind guide it and let your mind take it over, and you do something in your mind, a walk maybe or a run or whatever, so that all those messages from your brain starts going to the spine and maybe it starts working. We don't know how much it will work once the injury happens, but there are many people who have walked out of the hospital. Let's go. Let's also come back to the ancient Indian wisdom. So so you said the saints or rishis when they would meditate, they would put something on I don't know what you call it, whatever it is. They would put the like this, and when you put your hand over that particular piece of wood, your spine is automatically straight. And when your spine is straight, so I think we have to experience it. You are quite a bit in the present moment, right? Because one, your internal focus is for some time because we don't sit straight. So the moment you go straight and you have to make it a conscious effort, then your whole, the thought process is that in your spine being straight. So you are quite a bit in your present moment. Secondly, it also helps obviously the body, to be more straightened and then your mind is more straight. So it's both the ways when we are talking about it. And of course, what it means is that you create your own future. Sir can tell it better because I feel if you're in now and present, you're not much worried about your future. I think the future will be better in any case because you're not
And
carrying your past forward.
and you are a Kundalini yoga expert, and who else, but you know better than that the spine is the highway to the spiritual, and that's what
Yeah,
I
that's another
feel.
aspect.
Yeah,
Yes, definitely, definitely. I think it's all about. So we talk of energy, we talk of different centers, and the energy moving through the centers and reaching up to the spine. So it's like a pipe which is straight, and the energy can rise up. But if the pipe is bent at many places, obviously energy does not rise up in the most beautiful way. It gets stuck at many places. So, in
yes.
order for you to also, if we talk from that perspective of Kundalini Yoga, it's about raising your energy to that level. And for that, we need to have and we need to prepare our body perfectly for that, right? And that's how we work on the spine. So if your spine is straight, all the energy can rise up in the most beautiful way, and we can be living more balanced life. Because once your energy is balanced in different chakras, you're living more balanced life. If it is not, then you're stuck in one of the chakras, whatever it is. So I don't want to go deep into that one, but then yes, it is there. Plus, I think if we talk about from the perspective of coaching, while you're a coach or you're an awaker, when you're coaching people, your physiology makes a lot of difference. Even if you're doing online, and we have been working online with the people, if I'm not sitting straight and I'm slouching, it goes to the client automatically that I am not in the ready state, I'm not in a listening mode, I'm not in a curious state, because it does not show up in my body, right? So even when we talk from the perspective there, the coach or the awakener has to also understand that what is physically the way you're carrying your body is very, very important, because it does convey the energy, right? Okay, so it makes, I think it makes a whole lot of sense to keep your spine erect and be straight, ताकि कोई बोले ना भाई सीधे हो जाओ, अपने आप ही सीधे हो जाओ, that is better.
Right. We are running out of time, but I have so many things to ask you. And sir, how body posture. So, my one last very quick question: how body posture? Because we are talking about the spine and we are talking about body posture and everything around it. How they can this be transformational in coaching?
Okay. So uh, I will first start from non-coaching to the coaching. In India, there is a state called Rajasthan, and I see very tall people there, and I love to watch them for two reasons. One is that there's less of water there, they take too much less of that, and they can work in this scorching heat, and they have the aches to dig out, and they work the labor. I'm talking about part. There are other people in Rajasthan, rich and all that. I'm talking about the people who have big stamina. Now, when I look them, I love it the way they have the straight spine. Okay, so what keeps them working in this scorching heat and even not looking for water, and still they dig out the dry earth, and they are they were laboriously working hard, is that they have enough resilience, stamina, focus. So in the context of coaching too, if if you can let the energies become aligned, the of the of the gut, of the solar plexus, of the heart and the mind, okay, all together. Joe Dispenza is one of the profound trainer in the world who spent 3 days only to help people to use two Indian ancient wisdom techniques, that how to put anus lock, okay, and mm, tighten your the and put anus lock and then pull the energy up. What is energy is talking about? And which is the fluid the person is talking about, is trying to reach to the pineal gland. Now, either you spend 4 laborious days like that, or you gently walk straight or keep yourself straight, and you let the energies channelize and remain balanced. So, from the balanced body posture, you're in a balanced state of mind, and you create more balance, and that's called equilibrium. So, in the context of coaching too, it is true that yes, you can move your body here and there to access different part of the brain and activate different muscles to send signal to your brain, but then allowing yourself to sit straight and mind your body posture, and the all thoughts of your mind have shaped up your body, and the shape of your body is shaping your future. And this is why this is a core Indian wisdom, that how you can correct your shape, so you shape up your thoughts well and shape up your future well. What can be a greater gift than this to this planet, that something that is totally in your control? Okay, and there's an Indian spiritual leader, I love him, Jaggi Vasdev. I mean, see, he's traveled the whole world, and that too in tough times. So he's proven the human abilities. Okay, and he's only talking about human capacities. To day-to-day work, it has nothing to do with that. Okay, we have realized divine. And it means that we have realized ourselves that we must live a healthy body, a good mind, and a beautiful heart, and a very nice spirit to touch people. That's something in our control. And these gifts of India are absolutely practicable in any coaching session or in any leadership practices. And things start with, you know, taking your body as a temple. So look at even people as life finding its expression and shaping up. And look at yourself also the life finding impression. So get in touch with the life rather than the human being and find out how it's shaping up. And if we all shape up well, we can shape a good community, a good nation, and good humanity. So if by simply practicing, okay, controlling our muscles, we have not to use our muscle. What can be a better deal than this? Okay, and then rich heritage is available. Okay, just to experience everything in your whole body, and that's best.
That's best. Truly, truly, that's the best. Thank you, sir, and thank you, ma'am. This is this, and let me just add before we close that this is one sentence that has gone on giving me a gift like nothing else, like really nothing else, because it's difficult to control the mind and it is so simple to control the spine. सीधे होने के लिए माइंड को बोलने की नहीं, सिर्फ स्पाइन को बोलने की जरूरत है. You only need to change your body posture. It oxygenates your blood. And I was reading a book called Pain Free by Egoscu, which has just come into the consciousness about a couple of years ago, and that also just talks about the spine, like keep your spine erect and your body balance. And what you say about the posture, and that has come from our ancient wisdom, isn't it so amazing? Also, the entire neurology of your brain changes, and neurosurgeons and neuroscientists are just figuring that one out. And again, it fires new neurons in your mind, and that is what asto mas sadagamaya is all about: enlightenment, and enlightenment from within. And thank you so much, ma'am. Any closing words from you, please?
Just see the
बस सीधे हो जाओ.
बस
That's
इधर
it.
हो.
सीधे हो जाओ.
Thank you.
अपने
I
आप ही
think
सीधे हो जाओ.
I
Thank you
think
so
that
much.
is
Thank you.
such a beautiful blessing, and thank you to ICF for this opportunity for us to have a conversation. And thank you, Siri ma'am. Thank you, Sat sir. May your book enlighten millions and billions from darkness to light. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.